What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we got some Plarium news here for the upcoming summoning event for the weekend, as well as the layout for the dungeon events going on for the weekend as well. Now, if you guys recall from my previous video, there is a guaranteed Heroes Path for a champion, Balar the Lost. So Balar Lost here from the Sylvan Watchers. He's kind of a Chimera trial specialist. He has a lot of stuff going on in his kit to handle trials for Chimera, poison sensitivity, leech. He has poisons as well, decreased resistance, increased accuracy as well. Good champion to handle a bunch of the trials. He will be part of a Heroes Path starting on Thursday, extending through the weekend. Now, there's going to be other goodies in that Heroes Path as well as his 5-star soul and mythical mats for the event relics. So if you go into the event relics, is going to be some mythical mats up for grabs for the Chaos Awakes relics if you guys are into that. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty big event, and it will have a little bit of everything for somebody. Now keep in mind, I did do an analysis with the Heroes Path from the past for Podrig and Podrig's 5-star soul, and it was extremely expensive. In total, both Podrig and his soul would have costed you about 40 sacred shards worth of points. Now for the upcoming Balar Heroes Path starting on Thursday, the requirements will be pulling shards and dungeon diving. So with that out of the way, also want to remind you guys that there will be a special additional gift. So for anybody that finishes off all the champions, acquiring all the champions. Now somebody was mentioning that they said you required the mythical to get the special gift. That's not true. You just need the 4 champions in this picture here. So it's Grey Coast, Lemonese, Balar, and Tholin. So Balar is the one that's going to be up. That's going to be a guarantee for the Heroes Path. And then after acquiring all 4, you will get this pop-up in the shop. Now, it's not a crazy amount of stuff. You get a cool frame. You get the Skull of Treason, which is, pretty cool. Legendary gemstone. The three relic chickens are actually kind of valuable. And then 2 other epic gemstones. Not bad. It's a bunch of free stuff. Sounds good. And lastly, that is happening until August 5th. So make sure you guys get all that stuff together before August 5th. So there's still some time away for that. All right, so quick rundown for the dungeon layout for the weekend here. We got 3x speed from Dragon. We can already see it's in the game right now. It's going to happen in about 24 hours, so after CVC. So we can get our farm on for some triple dragon speed. And after that, we have provoke gear in the ice golem. So not the best in terms of dungeons to farm, but the Corrosa event will overlap with the Balar on the first day. So then you guys can spend some energy farming the Corrosa dungeon while getting points towards the Balar Heroes Path. All right, so there's going to be 2 separate progressive events, both lasting 2 days. I'm going to break it down here in both days here. So this is the first day right above me right now. We got the cat up for grabs. I think the cat's going to be really interesting. At least for me, I think it's probably going to be the one that I would be chasing from this first event. Very good champion, can be used in arena and all that. Got speed in all battles. Got a cool passive here that keeps him alive as well. Very synergistic kit. He can place Veil on himself. He can put increased attack as well. And yeah, he can slap. He can definitely slap. Very good champion. He is Spirit Affinity, and I don't think he's better than Sun Wukong, but he's very good. He's very good. And surprisingly for Demon Spawn faction, Hard Faction Wars, he's actually one of the more solid DPS for that faction. So I would be interested in going for him on day 1. After that, we have Haillight Ash Arrow from the Sylvan Watchers here. He is right here. Yep. So he has this passive here that whenever this champion or an ally's turn meter is decreased, increase the damage of this champion's next attack by 20%. So when I think about this, you think about Arman's, decreasing turn meter and all that. So his damage will increase if you're facing Arman's. And then he has an active effect here that whenever this champion's turn meter drops below 25%, because of a turn meter reduction effect from an enemy, so think about Arman's, places a block debuff on this champion for 2 turns and grant them an extra turn. So basically, he has an opportunity to basically cut in against Arman's, and then he can do some big damage and take him out. He does okay damage. He has okay damage dealing stats as well. He's not a direct counter to Arman's, because even with this, it doesn't necessarily mean that Arman's gets countered or anything, but he can interrupt and disrupt Arman's rotations and all that. Does bring a little bit of ignore defense here, ignore unkillable, ignore block damage. So he could be definitely very useful. He's also part of the Sylvan Watchers group, which doesn't have too many great DPS, so he's not too bad in that role. Moving on, we have from the Barbarian faction, from one of the best fusions of last year, and we have Thor. I love Thor. I think he is definitely worthy of all the hype around him, especially around the fusion time. Great champion, great for Hydra, great for waves. He can be, he can do anything around waves. He's got an A1 here that absolutely smacks. He's got an A2 that super smacks and ignores block damage, unkillable as well. And then he has a decreased speed on his A3 with a self buff, and it smacks too. Not as much as the A2, but it still smacks. And he has passive here that applies stun and smacks. So he's just a pure smacking machine. So if you guys got him, you guys probably use him in some content. Great champion. He will be up for grabs as well on day 1. After Thor, we have Tholin, the most recent fusion here from the Dwarves faction. So this guy, great fusion. He was actually given away for free for brand new players, which is a bit of a bummer. But I think this guy's very, very solid as a damage dealer. He has incredible base attack here. He's got attack in all battles. He's got an A1, AoE, apply weaken. Not 100% apply or anything like that, but he doesn't require accuracy against bosses or their minions, which is really, really nice. He has a A2 double hit here. This thing cranks big damage here. Has some ignore defense as well, and then reduce attack. So it's really good against bosses. And then he has an A2, A3 here. That's an AoE double hit with the self buff, increase attack as well. And a damage boosting condition here as well when he lands crits. Very cool passive here as well. He basically takes a extra attack with the A1 every 5th turn. So he's just, again, he's just a DPS machine. Very good champion, especially against bosses here. And yeah, he will be up for grabs as well in the first progressive event. Lastly, for the non-voids here, we have from the Dwarf faction as well, we have Mountain King. The Mountain King here, unfortunately, he's still not great. He did get a little bit, a slight rework. Still not that great. He has the highest base HP in the entire game, 31,000. The thing with him is that he just doesn't do enough. Like, he has 50% ignore defense on a single target smack on a 4 turn. He does grant extra turn, which is good because that kind of helps against his poor speed. He has another single target attack here on his A3, again another 4 turn, and he has a damage boosting passive here. He is immune to decreased attack, which is a little bit of a plus side, but honestly he just still doesn't do enough. So he's going to be up for grabs as well. Cool champion, but he's not going to find his way into most high-end teams. Let's talk about the voids here a little bit. We got Georgia the Breaker from the Night Revs. Now, the big thing about Georgia is that he's one of the few champions that can cut right through Stone Skin, and then he'll grant an extra turn as well. He ignores all of this stuff, which is awesome. He has an AoE here that has an irresistible turn meter pushback on a 3 turn, and he has an A1 that has a chance to repeat. His passive also grants him the opportunity to ignore 50% of the target's defense, which is absolutely insane. So Georgia definitely can crank big damage. He has basically no survivability in his kit. This guy's a pure glass cannon. I have him myself, very fun to use, very good in certain situations, mainly used to destroy Stone Skin minions. So he's a great option for that if you have no other option. After that, we have Honoro Ieyasu here from Shadowkins. I have him as well. Very, very powerful champion. Not only for Arena, because he shares similar attributes to George's. So he can ignore Stone Skin, Shield, and Strengthen as well. And 50% of the target's defense. Very, very powerful ability here to help you cut through Stone Skin champions. Again, similar to George's base stats, he has basically no survivability. Very similar base stats to George. Very similar kind of use case to George as well. But Ieyasu, what he benefits a lot from is that he's really good against Hydra. He does a ton of damage against Hydra, if you guys did not know, because of his passive that kind of just acts as, kind of like a hex almost. Basically, it spreads damage throughout the entire enemy team here. Very, very powerful champion here. He's got an A2 here that can block revive, very strong in arena. He's got an A1 here that grants an extra turn if he kills enemies, so this can get pretty wild sometimes. But the problem with Ieyasu, similar to Georgia, is that they have no built-in survivability, so it really requires you to go first. And even if you put them in Stone Skin, their base stats are so low that it might not actually protect them from some damage dealers nowadays in the arena. But these guys are absolute powerhouses in terms of doing damage. Lastly, we have Vulcanin finishing off the first progressive event here, Valkyrin from the Undead Hordes. He was a guaranteed void champion at some point. I forgot what his cost was. I think 100 void shards. But honestly, I passed on this guy as a guaranteed void champion. I just don't think he has super strong use case. Big thing about him is that he targets an ally. He kind of consumes them, I guess. That's the way I visualize his ability. So he targets an ally, he consumes them, basically kills them, and then he unlocks his secret ability, his A4, Malice Unleashed. He places Weaken True Fear on the enemies, it's irresistible, and then he increases his turn meter by 75%. He also has this kind of cool, like, last man standing kind of condition here. So if the ally is dead, so you can target a dead ally, and instead of, applying pressure on your enemy, you can basically give himself a big shield. So it's a little bit of a offensive, defensive type of condition on his Death's Bargain. And then he goes into his Malice Unleash, attack one enemy. You steal all their stuff, you get conditional damage boost, you ignore all this stuff, and you have a block revive. So it's a pretty powerful, secret ability, I guess. But I mean, honestly, for the setup that it requires, it probably needs to be like an AoE almost, or something that grants you an extra turn almost, because even though you killed one of your enemies, you can only kill one of their enemies. And then Valkyrin doesn't have like some crazy built-in survivability himself. He has a little bit of a CC effect here on his passive effect. Basically, it's a massive book, but he can apply some debuffs if he is hit while he is under a shield buff. So applying shields on him is a good thing. Basically, it gives him a lot of value from his passive. He does have an AoE here on his A2, and he does bring a big speed aura in arena. Now, I've seen him used a couple times in obviously lower ranked live arena play, but I think he's a little bit too tricky to use to full effectiveness. So I don't think he's as straightforward as somebody like Ieyasu or Georgid. Neither do I think he's that effective. So I would probably give him a hard pass if I were to choose between the three. I like Ieyasu over Georgid just because Ieyasu basically does the same thing as Georgid, but is more powerful in PvE content. So that'll be my first choice. The epic slots that are available on the first progressive event, we got Moonbeam, we got Isabel. So we got a couple pieces here from Mikage if you guys are interested, Akentum and Suncurse as well. I believe Suncurse is also part of the Mikage fusion, so obviously you guys can pick them if you guys need them for the Mikage. Let's go on to day 2, or the second progressive here, which I have on the screen right now. So it starts on Saturday. So we have an event starting Thursday, Friday, and then we have an event starting Saturday, Sunday, both for 48 hours. Same kind of progressive stuff. For the non-voids, we have Prince Kymar up for grabs from the Demon Spawn here. Prince Kymar is still one of the best legendaries in the game because it enables the full reset, enables speed runs and all that. And the best thing about him, if you just use him for reset ability, you don't need him at 60, you don't need masteries, you don't need him to be even fully booked. So very, very strong champion. I think every account needs to have at least one of this guy. I use him in Hydra for my Trunda team, still very good. I don't have Yumiko or anything, and he works just fine. Keep in mind that his Seal of Magic can't be reset like Yumiko. Yumiko is special in that she's like the only champion that can have her reset be reset. So Kymar does not have that ability. Kymar also has a sleep and strip, and then big speed aura in arena as well. Good champion. I put him in a hex set. He has an AoE that applies hex and poison. You can actually hit kind of hard if you give him like good crit damage as well. So he's a very versatile champion and will be up for grabs on Saturday. After Kymar, we have we have Queen Ancora from the Night Revs. Queen Ancora was a fusion maybe about almost a year and a half ago now, maybe 15 months ago. But yeah, she's really good by herself. She's obviously has a very strong partner bonus with King Narcissus. Speed in all battles, got a great passive here that basically soaks up all the hard CCs from your highest crit damage champion. So this can be, you can target this, or not target this, but you can basically, make a team that works really well with their passive. There's a really powerful revive here that can really catch you off guard if you're not ready for it. The revive with high turn meter, and then obviously the reset on all the skills can be devastating. 3-turn cooldown. She has a cleanse with the shield as well, and then an A1 that has a cooldown reduction ability, which can again catch you off guard as well. Good champion overall. I use her without King Narcissus, and she's one of my main support champions on my account. After Ancora, we have Pythion, another past fusion champion as well. Very, very powerful support here. Sorry, that's Sulfurion, but this is Pythion. Very, very good support champion. Similar base stats to Duchess. He was compared to Duchess, but I would say he's a step below Duchess because he's not as I would say active as Duchess whereas Duchess can set up for a strong offensive. Python's very much a reactive champion. He has A1 heals. These are good amounts of healing. He has a cleanse here that offers more healing with the block debuffs, and then he has a team-wide revive with the strengthen. Now his passive here is similar to Duchess, but again, probably not as good because it only reduces damage by 5%, and it's based off of buffs, whereas Duchess just has a flat AoE damage reduction. Also, his aura is not as strong as Duchess because it's resistance in all battles, whereas Duchess is just speed in all battles. Speed is just generally more useful. But overall, very, very strong champion. If you don't have him, I mean, he's a hard carry for the faction, for any kind of faction war content and all that. And he will be up for grabs starting on Saturday. After that, we have Theodore the Savant. Theodore from the Night Revs was one of the best PvE champions, basically of all time when he was released. Then they released Hard Dungeons. Hard Dungeons shut down Theodore quite a bit because his poison strategy was no longer viable against the Ice Golem. So that really, really sucked for Theodore. But Theodore is still one of the gods for Hard Dragon. He can solo, I think nowadays he can probably solo Hard 10 with all the stats that are around. But for me, I got him up to Hard 8, 100% farm rate with regen gear and all that. No crazy blessings or anything like that. But I think nowadays with like empowerment and crazy blessings, you can probably do Hard 10. But yeah, so he's going to be up for grabs as well. He's just generally a good champion. AoE decreased speed. He's got the poison sensitivity, increased speed, and then he has the increased duration, weaken, and then instant activation. So he can actually be useful in like Spider for detonating the poisons as well, or HP burns. So poison or HP burns. And in a pinch, I mean, I guess you can use them for an AoE decreased speed for like beginner Hydra or something like that. But still a decent champion overall, but just not as crazy as he once was when he was first released. After Theodore, we have Stock the Broken from the Ogren tribe. So Stock, again, a past fusion. Not in the same kind of use case as Theodore, I think. Stock the Broken can't solo Dragon in the same way that Theodore can do it. He brings some crazy value here on his A3, applying weaken, multiple poisons, continuous heals, but it does require HP burn to come out first, and he doesn't apply HP burn himself, which is kind of a big bummer. His A1 increases the duration of HP burns and poisons, and his A2 will activate those poisons and HP burns as well. He has an interesting passive here that basically allows poison and HP burn to go through block damage. Now this has some interesting use cases in Arena. Basically, you bring Stock, and Stock can basically now go through block damage with the poison and stuff if you set him up somehow with another poison damage dealer, for example. But I don't think many people would use him for that use case. Overall, I don't think he's as good as he was kind of hyped up to be when he was first announced during the Fusion. I did play test him as well. I didn't really find him all that special. Obviously, if he's your first poisoner, he's going to be great, but I don't think he ranks like the best out of all the poisoners out there. And that rounds out the non-voids. As for the void champions here, we have Tuhanarok to start it off here. Tuhanarok's being offered as a brand new player promo code. She's awesome for that role. She brings decreased speed on the A1. She brings decreased attack, which is really good for clan boss, especially when you're starting out. Block buffs here with the debuff spread. She can be used for Hydra for the block buffs part of this kit, but does require some manual play because of the randomness nature of this ability. Also brings increased defense and increased speed. Increased defense is going to be very good for beginner players, especially in clan boss. And then she has a passive here, which is really, really strong. She removes debuffs passively, and she has a conditional boost on this. 2 debuffs removes if they're under continuous heal. The A1 applies continuous heals, although randomly. Accuracy in all battles helps with early game building up champions. She has good base stats overall. Good champion, and as a free champion, I think she's great. I think she falls off quite a bit in the late game, but in the beginning, she's going to be awesome for any kind of new account. And yeah, she's going to be up for grabs on the second progressive event. After that, we have Warlord here from the Orc faction. I do have Warlord myself. He was a game-changing champion when I pulled him back in 2022. The end of 2022, I think. And yeah, he really enabled me to push really, really hard into the PvP aspect of this game. With Warlord, I was able to make Platinum top 50 many times. or just platinum many times, and obviously top 100 and then up to top 50. Warlord is just really, really strong. But then after mythicals were introduced in the game, Warlord and any kind of lockout ability is not that strong anymore. He does have a turn meter pushback here on the same lockout ability, which gives it a little bit utility. He does have a little bit of recovery, block debuffs, and healing. So you can use him not just for his lockout ability, but you can use him for a little bit of sustain. So a 3-turn cooldown as well, which is really solid. Overall, he's still a very helpful and useful champion. I just don't use him as much anymore since there's some more options out there nowadays, especially for Arena. But he's going to be up for grabs on the second progressive. And lastly, for the Void champions here, we have Venus. Venus here from the Banner Lords, I want to say. Nope, I'm wrong. Sacred Order. Venus here from the Sacred Order. She's a great champion, right? She got the A1 poisons, great against bosses. She got the decreased defense and weaken on a 3-turn. Pretty standard, ability here. If you compare this ability to Lydia's ability, it's total garbage. But hey, not many champions have these two debuffs together on a single ability. So this is on a 3-turn cooldown. And then she has an HP burn as well in her kit. So she brings AoE HP burn, she brings single target poisons, and then decreased defense and weaken. Just a boss killing champion. Her passive is extremely strong, but it requires Cupidus on the team. Otherwise, just ignore this completely. She brings HP in all battles 33%, which is pretty solid. She has great base speed, great base stats overall. Good champion. Still definitely can find some use. I think her best use case is probably for Hydra. AoE HP burned, AoE decreased defense and weaken. And she's void affinity, so she has no affinity issues. You could put her in a hex set or something. She could, be helpful that way. And of course, partner bonus with Cupidus could be kind of fun in some situations as well. Great for this Sacred Order, for faction wars and all that. And yeah, she's going to be up for grabs. And that kind of rounds out all the Void champions here for day 2. For the epic slots, we have Ulfrig. Obviously, if you need him for Mikage, then there he is. Who else? That's about it. Ugo's awesome. Deacon's awesome. I mean, Cirrus still decent, can find some use. And Sabbatha is a reviver, still can be useful as well for Knight Revenant. All right, guys. So those are the progressive events that are going to be alongside the Balar Heroes deck of Fate. Now, for me personally, I'm probably going to be pulling during the first 2 days for the Cat. That's who I would put there. Keep in mind that these progressive events are just total crapshoots anyways. The chance of pulling your desired champion is it starts at about 7% and it goes up to about 12% when it's 25x. And of course, there's going to be no boosted rates, guys. There's going to be no boosted rates available. Just going to be pulling with regular rates. So it's going to be a tough time for everybody. It's going to be a sea of blues and a lot of tears and all that. So just think of your shards as currency. Think about the end goal. Hey, think about them. Hey, I'm going for 100 mythic mats, or hey, I'm going for a champion. So even though I spend all these shards and I get nothing, I'm still going to get a champion at the end of it. Still going to get some mats at the end of it, or a 5-star soul. So, if you think about it that way, then it's less painful, because we're probably going to be in for a lot of pain, especially with these base rates if you're going to be pulling. Just a little bit of advice. That's kind of how I view shards and how you should view shards when you use them for these type of events, especially like fusions and all that stuff, because your main goal is to complete the goal, right? And that is your prize at the end. If you pull something along the way, that's great. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end. Let me know in the comments below which event interests you. Are you guys going for the Balar Heroes path? If you guys haven't checked out my breakdown on that, make sure you guys check it out in the description below. And yeah, let me know your comments and everything. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.